live streams. And it looks like 4.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The tidings we bring for you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hey.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I guess I got a phone call, but hold on, guys.
Milky
It's Johnny. Johnny's here.
I'm here?
Johnny 5.
Guys, is going live into.
Johnny DriveBYE is now live. Do we
Yeah, I'm live now.
put a link in the live stream here?
Looks like Badger just did it.
Oh, good. Okay. Great.
Okay, somebody put up already.
Yeah, because I was just about to, but if Badger beat me to it, that's great.
Right.
Hey! All right.
Okay, I sent it out on the Twitter feeds.
I gotta find the chat now.
Alright.
I'm gonna turn their sound off.
Go rest up a bit and prep for my stream.
All right, their stream is off. Hey everybody, how you doing? Who's all here? You got hi Diana, hello Spooky, and you mind? Hey, how did that sound? You guys hear us all right? I'm not used to using the StreamYard at all. Oh, I gotta fucking pause that too. Yeah, okay, you can't hear us. All right. Well, what should we do? I'm trying to get a little bit of who I am to make you see and understand that I'm here and following my dream. City lights so much bright, all that noise is so deafening to me. I can still hear the angels when they cry. Why did you make me life so hard? You don't even raise your eyes up to see, and I'm still standing there, waiting for you to see that I still got a little something left to give, and I know you want some too. So why don't you follow me? All those times that I swallowed my pride as you walked out the door. Why did I let you get away? Why did you make my life so hard? You don't even give me the time of day, but I'm standing there, waiting for you to say that I still got you. I got a little something left to give, and I know you want some too. So why don't you follow me? All those times that I swallowed my pride as you walked out the door. Why did it always turn that way? All right. All right, so I don't know what the heck we're gonna do because I really haven't got anything going on there. Hey, any of you guys want to join in with us up here, because I'm gonna look at a couple videos. I gotta find the Streamlab thing though. All right, where's? Because I don't know how to do this frickin' StreamYard thing. I need somebody that knows what they're doing on StreamYard. And where the heck is it? Oh, there. All right. So what? Let's see if I can find that video now. So Merry freaking Christmas, everybody. How's your Christmas, B?
No, good, man. Pretty light. Haven't done much yet. Still have a couple Christmases to do, but all good.
I gotta
Nice
close
to see everybody.
All right. Oh yeah, I gotta pop the chat out. Wait, I don't have to there. I should be able to do.
We're clipping too.
Yeah, I really don't know how to use StreamYard yet. Google decided to turn off Hangouts, and they discontinued it. So
Yeah.
it screwed me a little bit. I haven't even done a stream for a while. We did that one the other night, but okay, everybody. I think I'm settled down here. I got all the windows closed and StreamYard and. Jump in here, Bad Temper Badger. I'll send you the link to the thing here. I need help with it. It'd be great if you could help out. Let's see, DMs. Plop. Where's the freaking? A new laptop. I can't even freaking find anything on here. Plop, he says. I hope I'm not sharing all these windows. All right, there it is. Plop. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. Okay. Invite. Copy link. I'm all discombobulated here. All right, there we go. There. Now I get somebody that can at least talk. Okay, so how do I get the chat up there? All right, everybody. Gotta find that video first. All right, now what I got here is what this video is. It claims to be the first Christmas movie ever made, and I want to try and find out if it is it or not. Let's see. First. And there it is. And I will share the screen. Chrome tab, share audio. Okay, this. I don't think there's any sound on it, but this claims to be the first Christmas movie. But I'm wondering if it is or not.
Do we know what the content is supposed to be exclaiming, or what exactly they're trying to portray?
No, this is what the claim is, that this is the first Christmas movie ever made.
Okay.
And what I want to do, I was kind of thinking that we should just do it for a little fun, see if we can figure out where it came from and where it was done and all that. And I think, let's see, I'll put the link for the channel on there so everybody can go and check it out for themselves. And where's Bad Temper Badger? Hello. All right. Can you guys see that one? I don't even know how to do the StreamYard. Not used to it, that's for sure. Oh, this is streaming movie, okay, so. But anyway, I think it was made. Where's the? Is it? I wonder if he can get in. Here we go. Oh, that's not what I have here. Where's Bad Tempered Badger? Say something, Brandon.
I'm good. I'm just waiting for the action. It's coming.
I can't freaking find this. Nothing on here right now. Sorry, guys. I got a new laptop here. It's Christmas.
1898. They say the movie.
1898. So that would even be before lighting, before electricity.
Yeah. When did Saint Nick come into play? Is that something older? I should have researched something before we.
Yeah, it was kind of, but I rehearsed using. I'm in your backstage thing. You gotta click me. Oh, you gotta. Okay. How do I do that? Where is the backstage? Oh, there he is. Ah, gotcha. Hey, how you doing, bud?
Hello. Oh no, I can hear myself.
Yeah. All right. This is B. This is Bad Tempered Badger.
Nice to meet you, Bad.
Hello.
I think he's British.
He has been known to be British, yes.
So, I don't even know if I'm playing that. Is that movie playing on the out there on YouTube?
Hang on.
I'm not even sure what the hell to do on this thing.
Let me look from the YouTube end.
They just screwed me all over about like taking Hangouts away, man. Now I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, it messed me up as well.
And I didn't even do any streaming for probably 2 months, so I'm way behind everybody.
Yeah, you got a nice blurry picture of that film on the YouTube end.
Yeah, what's going on there? I don't even get it. Okay, I'll stop sharing this. Oh, it was rolling the credits anyway.
There's the jolly man right there.
He is jolly. Okay, so I think I had a little bit of research done to it, but I'm gonna make the people in the chat go and do research on it and see if they can come figure it out. And another one I got is this is supposedly it's the 1960s. I think some people probably heard of this, but the claim is that it has subliminal messages written underneath it there that say it kind of follows like the movie They or whatever. And I was gonna like look at that and see if the claims on that end up being true, because I don't think that I found anything on it. Nothing solid anyway. What is everybody in the chat doing here?
I don't know about the chat. I've just got back from visiting the Badger family.
Ah, how'd your thing go this year?
It was alright. Went around there, gave them some chockies. They gave me a t-shirt.
What the heck is a chalky?
Chocolates.
Oh, chocolate. Chalkies. Your accent, man. Yeah.
Oh, I can make it worse.
I'm
I could
sure.
I could talk in the local colloquialisms if you want.
Well, if I did the local colloquialisms around here, would you probably know them better than I do?
No, neither of us would be able to understand each other. I could talk like this around here, and this is like how you talk around these parts here, you know?
That's all right.
It's actually similar to how we speak around here.
Oh, that's excellent.
I got good accent from watching Monty Python, so.
Wow, fabulous.
He's dying.
It
to
is
hear
fabulous.
He's dying to hear it.
It is fabulous.
I would like to hear that. Yeah, go on.
I can tell. I can tell. You know what? We don't got any booze.
No booze.
What the hell are we gonna do? So
I'm
let's
just drinking the
see.
tea.
Drinking a tea? I do have to get a soda here pretty soon. It was 4:20 a while ago, so. No, it is. No, it's 4:20 coming up here in 2 minutes.
Let's get it figured out.
Really, Pine Snake? Get up them apples and pears to get to the dog and bone for them, bad.
And sign off.
Well, apparently I sound like Vincent Price.
I don't quite think that's it. What was that Alice Cooper song that he has him in there? Black Widow, yeah. I love that part. Let's see, National Anthem. Okay, this is this one that somebody. Where's the original? Naomi. This is the very original. Now this apparently the story goes on this. Is that shown? No, it's not shown. I'll have to share the monitor freaking thing. It was about. Boy, it's complicated. Am I making it more complicated, or is it just freaking that complicated? All right, here we go. Share. And Chrome tab. And share the audio. National Anthem. Ba-bada bing. Okay, now I don't know if the sound's coming through, though. Is the sound coming through on that video, guys? Oh, I got echo on mine? Probably. I got my mics all fucking exposed out here.
Anthem. our national anthem. Our national anthem.
Once again, this really seems to point in the direction that it may have been a hoax. Another detail pointing to this being a hoax is that there's actually a version of this sign-off that played in 1981. This version looked nearly identical to the version we just saw, with a few exceptions. One of which being that there are no subliminal messages in this version. So it's only natural to think that Naomi 1963 took the 1981 version and edited it to include the subliminal messages just to fool people. There actually is a problem with this though. The 1981 version has a narrower field of view than the 1960s version we previously saw. Additionally, in the 1981 version, the shadow on the text is on the top left, whereas the shadows on the text from the 1960s version is on the bottom right. This seems sufficient enough proof to me that the subliminal message version did not use the 1981 version as a source, so this plays in favor of the video being legitimate. Finally, people believe this could be a hoax because the font seen in the subliminal messages differs from the font used for the national anthem lyrics. A writer from VigilantCitizen.com found this to be true in this screenshot. As you can see, the A in real on the left does look different from the A on the right. They go on to say this doesn't prove the video is a hoax, however, because the method used for displaying text at the time was much less advanced than it is now. You can even see slight differences in font on the text that doesn't include subliminal messages. Furthermore, the subliminal text has the same amount of blurriness and shakiness as a lyrical text. If this was only a hoax created by a very
Hello. It seems to be just me now.
I'm in here.
Oh, there they are.
Arr. I could do a Irish pirate. Here we go. So
Yeah, sorry about that. My computer suddenly decided it didn't want to be turned on anymore. It just went, nope.
Badgers killed Johnny. What? Oh, they're they think I got killed. No, we were kind of watching it. I don't know if you were watching it all on the video there.
I managed to see most of it, yeah.
But right where I got it paused right now, you can see at the font underneath it, it's a different color, and it's like a different font, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, they did mention that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't from the same original script or printing, whatever, of the film.
Could have been deliberately a different font.
It is, and there's a difference in the shadowing used on the font or on the letters from the original. The original, I believe, was shadowed at the bottom, and the one from the 80s is a little smaller frame, and the shadows on the font are at the top. So very different.
Artemis, how you doing, buddy? Quit fingering your poor computer. Yeah, all right, man. Well, there's also what I've heard other people that are dissenters on this being the real thing is that the person that originally put it out was Naomi 63 something, which is something to do with the Cold War era or something like that in this 60s or whatever. But it's what they say is God is good, obey. It's kind of like off of the Bay movie or whatever, Rowdy Roddy Piper, and a lot of lines from that came from it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure that there's been other instances where they've been caught red-handed with subliminal.
Okay, the arguments for this being the real thing is that nobody discovered the guy that originally put it or whoever put it originally out didn't tell anybody about the font in there. Somebody 2 years later discovered it. So this thing's been it's like 2009 or 7 or something like that. So it's been around for a long time.
Do we know anything about the original writer?
Nope, nothing. Nobody knows nothing about him.
That's tough. There's not a whole lot of evidence.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Did we lose Badger again?
It's a conspiracy.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't have that. I'm gonna have to get. I got 2 laptops now, and I got only one set up. I could have two monitors, right? But I don't. Okay, let's move down with this a little further. See what he
Good
does.
video editor, then surely they would have been able to replicate the same font anyway. So, I agree here that this does not prove the video to be a hoax. The last point I want to make is that subliminal messaging definitely was something that the CIA experimented with. According to truthstreammedia.com, it is noted in a Southern California law review that the CIA tested subliminal manipulation in movie.
Yeah, I think CIA dealt with psyops quite a bit, didn't they?
Absolutely. All
So
kinds
I've
of-
heard.
Yeah.
From mental control to the sleeper cells or whatever.
Years ago, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I've read this book on mass psychology or whatever. I just grabbed. Why did I grab it out of the library? I have no idea. Maybe I have an inner sociopath that wants to get out. I don't know. But it was saying that the first type of brainwashing was actually started with a 12-step program for like AA or whatever by the North Koreans to brainwash capitalist people in their country into communists. And it's a 12-step group, the group think thing or whatever. To get them in the group and da-da-da. And make them believe something by pounding it, reinforcing it.
Didn't a lot of
Definitely advantage to targeting groups of people aside from individuals. Individuals seem to rationally be able to think clearer. The group mentality really takes over.
When the Jones incident happened, the Guyana tragedy, nobody walked over to take the punch until the lady with her little baby first took the first drink and took the initiative, and everybody then the herd mentality kicked in and everybody just did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there's something to be said about it, I guess.
Didn't the CIA give a load of people LSD or something?
Yes, I believe that. Yes, that was a thing.
We give a lot of people LSD, and the people that got it didn't know that they'd been dosed with LSD. A lot of them probably didn't even know what it was. It was housewives and maintenance men and everybody, doctors, everybody you can imagine.
What sort of maintenance man doesn't know what LSD is?
Well, yeah, I think a lot of the stuff was like early 60s, before it was really a trendy drug.
Yeah, Timothy.
Well, I'm British and I have some idea what it is.
I've never touched this stuff. Much.
Of course, I would never add subliminal messaging to any of my content by me sausages. I would never put any kind of message underneath my content that people should just buy me lots of sausages.
Main Gun
No.
says I take 12 steps to the liquor cabinet. I was always going to start a liquor store or a bar called the 13th Step. Right outside of the treatment center.
Called slippery slope.
I got myself a Christmas present actually. It's a bottle of crack and rum.
Oh, that sounds good, man.
Just had about all that.
Yeah, I've had it before. That's good. That's good stuff.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, here's another thing. What do you feel about having our certain people able to have secret things that they keep secret from the rest of the public, like the CIA? What's your opinion on that, Badger?
Are we talking about like a government?
Yeah, any government. What I mean, we supposedly we have these fail safes in place or whatever that catch them from doing nefarious things, but obviously there's crap going on that we should be fucking worried about.
I'm not entirely sure where I stand on it because I can both see that it can be important in certain instances for government agencies to be able to keep things secret for security reasons or just so that they can actually do them without like experiments that need the participants not to be aware of the exact parameters for the experiment to work.
Like a blind
Also,
study or something.
Yeah, that double blind and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The issue is when they start doing nefarious shit.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out where we draw the line. Do we draw it at like where a human being's civil rights are being violated without their knowledge, or
We'll never know.
where would you-
It's a secret.
Put that line. That's
Well,
difficult.
you could argue that anyone who's involved in a double-blind experiment where they don't know what the exact parameters of the experiment is, has had their civil liberties violated because they haven't given informed consent.
Very true.
But then, how are you ever going to do a blind experiment?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. I call it the creep factor. One time we justify it to not tell someone what the parameters are, and then the next time it's a little easier to justify it, and so on and so forth.
Wouldn't it be just a lot easier if we just poked everybody's eyes out?
Probably less
I mean,
painful.
yeah, right? I mean,
As a nation, probably. But
that'd be quadruple blind if it's two people then. So.
that's
Oh,
interesting.
also, Pine Snake. No, I'm not at all using this platform right now to do subliminal messaging that you should buy me sausages. I literally just said that I'm not doing that. Buy me sausages.
Send Johnny money.
Buy me sausages.
He needs booze too.
Did we pass 4:20?
What was that?
Did we pass our medication time?
I don't know. Oh, it's past 4:20. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go on with this. Man, this ain't gonna take up 2 hours.
Well, I can talk if you want.
Oh, we can talk. We can talk about crap that you know what? I do have another video that I want to look at actually.
All right.
But this might get a lot of people pissed off, and I might get my channel fucking taken down and everything. And
Perfect one to talk about.
It's all right. You're on your channel, not mine.
I'll dar you.
Oh no.
Oh, have you heard of Liz Wheeler? I didn't really know
I've
who
heard
she is,
the
but
name.
Is that we have
there we
to
go.
act. The
that's her.
authored Tipping Points: How to Topple the Left's House of Cards, which was named a Publishers Weekly national bestseller.
Can you hear that, Badger?
Which you all will have the
Yeah,
opportunity
yeah.
to receive and
It's
have
coming
signed
through,
by
okay.
Liz after the lecture. In August 2016,
Let's get
Liz was
to
named
the
top 10
frickin'
30 under 30
grifter.
conservative rising star by Red Alerts and tackling the left's.
Boy,
I host the show Tipping
holy shit, that was a
Points on One
freaking
American
2.5
News Network.
minute
I hope that you have
freaking
seen it
intro.
before. This, however, is one of my favorite things to do, to come up here
Why,
to the
why
radio
do every
center
one of
and
these
talk to
freaking
y'all
conservative ladies look like,
because you
I
guys
don't know,
listen
Yeah,
that?
they all do have a type, don't
our
they?
country
They all look like that.
enough
Really
to
do,
show
yeah.
up here and fight for it.
So even though you spent the whole weekend listening to other people talk and
Have
listening
both
to
cars.
what other people say,
Oh look, white
I
conservative
want you to
women.
know that we all care about what you
think that's
have
just
to
the
say,
look
and
you
we
have to
care
have
about what
there.
you think of our country. So thank you for that.
Okay, let's hear what your crap
Okay,
is.
you could have clapped there for yourselves, but that's okay. Okay, so today we're going to talk about climate change.
All right.
Climate change. Did you guys see that video?
Used to be one of my
that
favorite
went around
subjects.
on Twitter of the guy twerking at the climate strike? Did you see that? Yeah.
I haven't even seen
unfortunately,
that.
We all did. Twerking and booty dropping while someone threw glitter on him to save the planet.
Good for him.
Dropping into the splits. I heard actually that the reason that he did that, it's a rather unorthodox way to fight climate change. I heard that he did that because somebody told him that politicians weren't twerking hard enough to find a fix to climate change.
Oh, Jesus.
My sister,
clever.
16, told me not to make that.
God, I
joke.
wish I was there to
It's
throw a
embarrassing.
tomato at her right now.
I thought it was funny. Okay, so I'm here today to deliver
Wow.
a hard truth to that man and to many other people.
Wow, that's
Twerking
like-
will not solve
That's-
climate change.
All right,
In
you know what
fact,
to
It's
say
got
about
you
that.
I'm here
talking
today
about
to
it.
talk about Greta Thunberg and a whole generation.
I think she
of
said that so that you'd be at a
your
loss of words for the rest of her
generation
argument.
Americans who have been told lies about climate change. So first of all, what I want to do is, how many of you in this room, by a show of hands, how many of you believe in climate change?
What do you mean by believing?
I know, right away.
Is that a fixed room?
Right away.
The world.
Right away, she goes
So
with
that's a
the,
trick question.
with
That's a
the
trick
word, oops.
question. This is a
because she's going to use that for her own narrative right here to set up her narrative. She's framing it this way. Okay, so yeah,
question
believe it.
that the left uses as a rhetorical trick.
What do you mean by
We've talked about this
believing
before.
climate change? That's
So-
my question.
Okay, now the left uses it as a way to be defensive. Let's go back just a little bit. And,
How many of you in this room, by a show of hands, how many of you believe in climate change?
it's twerking.
So that's a trick question. That's a trick question. This is a question that the left uses as a rhetorical trick. We've talked about this before. So anybody who's been to one of these YAF conferences might recognize this. It is called the binary choice tactic.
What the fudge is a binary choice tactic?
One or the other.
No. What does she say it
You
is?
choose one or the other. Believe it
Oh,
or
remember
do
hearing
not.
about that? The binary choice tactic is a trick that the left uses. They ask you a question in a way that gives you only two options.
Wait a minute now. If you believe
That's a
in
left
climate,
thing, is it?
yeah. What, false dichotomies is just on our side? Yeah, okay, all right. I don't even know what she means by that, because
I have never heard such a thing being a left tactic.
yeah, I know it doesn't even make sense. I mean, is it even a tactic?
That's something I've heard. How do you?
First of all, like you said right away, you spotted right away. She said believe, and it's like, why would you even use that wording in there? You know, words matter. So
I'm trying to think of a good example of where I've heard the whole binary choice thing used now, or something like
well,
that.
there is a such thing in philosophy as the binary choice or whatever between
Yeah.
things or whatever. But and I think she's conflating it with something else. I think she's trying to make it sound like it's big words that she's saying.
Immigration, that was it. Somebody said
In what?
do you support immigration? And somebody else was like, well, yeah. I said, oh, so you support the takeover of your country by immigrants? No, that's not what I said.
Do you believe in immigration?
That's what you have assumed I meant when you said that word. I mean this.
No, I have faith in immigration. So
There you go.
I have faith in my doctor. He's not from around here.
I have faith in my proctologist. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, you better have faith in him. Let's see what else.
Option number one is you adhere to their radical leftist ideology, meaning
In other words, radical.
you agree with them, or the only alternative is that you're a bad person.
Yeah, you're right. You are a bad person.
They don't want to give you any other options, just that binary choice tactic. Either you
And you agree with them, or you're a bad person. Is that true?
I'm not a fan of those earrings. Sorry, that's not really the point.
She's got some dead eyes as well, gentlemen.
But yeah, I can see what she's trying to say. But that's not
But,
generally where.
But who asked who asked that question? Who asked that question like that? Do you believe in climate change? I don't ask that.
Yeah, she basically just framed that herself. I mean, I've had no example of that myself.
Because
sure it's being said.
when it comes down to the science and climate change, it's about the science and it's about the data in there. And I understand that you can, by putting it in a different framework or a different section of the timeline, you can change the data a little bit or ever change the results. But they pretty much they've been doing it for a long time. They know what they know how to adjust for those things.
I wouldn't say I believe in climate change. I would say that is the current consensus understanding of the data.
And actually, the models the predictive models are working fairly decent. I mean, they're a little bit off, but they're pretty accurate. And except for actually, they're too conservative, is what I understand. So.
Dear. Well, tell her they're too conservative. She might say that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, you know, I just don't think you can change her mind. I don't even think she's doing it because she believes it. I think she just freaking wants to coerce people to make money.
Agree with them or you're a bad person. In this case, that question, do you believe in climate change, is a binary choice question. Because they want you to either agree with their solution, their political solution to climate change, or they want to paint you as a science denier.
Well, from some of the stuff I've heard from people that deny science, yeah, they're science deniers. I mean, flat earthers, they're science deniers.
Again, I'm always struck with how many people aren't science specialists.
But here's the thing: it's fifth grade science. CO2 is a trapping gas. It traps the UV rays, or doesn't let the UV rays go back out. So it does create. And I mean, that's fifth grade science.
Yeah, definitely.
I can kind of see what she's saying.
I get her. I get her.
Do the devil's advocate for a minute. What I think she is trying to frame it as is that yes, the science says that, but I don't agree with the politics behind your solution to that. But my counter to that would be, okay, but if you look at, particularly in America, from my experience of it, the politics more on the right, they generally say the whole thing's a hoax in order to get voted, to get votes. Yeah. So they don't have an alternative solution; they're just ignoring it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the only thing that I ever hear from any of the deniers. I mean, I used to go in. I mean, I don't recommend it to anybody. It's really bad for your health. Going into the comment sections and in the climate videos or whatever, and argue with the deniers for months at a time. The threads would go on for months, and the most of them would. Some of them I think were trolls, but some of them. I think there's a couple of people that I genuinely think that because they're still around. I catch them in commenting. So I gave up. I quit doing climate change and I actually went into freaking doing atheist videos because it's like at least I can just sit there and go, yeah, well, piss off. But the climate, it's too depressing because even people that believe it is happening and believe that we should do something, don't do anything. They just sit back and let the world do its thing. And here's one thing that I'm going to promote this right now. Potholer 54. He has a charity on his channel, and they're actually doing something. They're getting the chainsaws out of these guys down in South America on the charity. And I'll have to put that link in the description of the video here when I'm done. So that's a word. Things like that. He's actually doing something to do a little bit of a change, And if everybody started putting their mind onto that rather than who's right and who's wrong about it, I think we're going to get a lot further in life, or in the grand scheme of the universe.
Well, there's lots of more, as Holner himself has said in his videos, there's lots of ways you could approach a climate change solution from a financially conservative perspective.
No,
but they're not. They're not. They're just ignoring the problem.
Yeah. For some reason, I just think that people just argue just because they want to argue. They're contrarian.
Definitely.
I mean, I could easily make an argument that it's better for the economy. I mean, it might not right at this very moment, but I mean, that's one thing that you even see people that work for these oil companies. They don't even understand. Well, why did you just keep on hiding this then if you knew that this was going to happen? You know that we're going to go down this road where we're. And here's the big thing: we won't have oil forever. That will hurt the economy. Huge. That's going to cause major chaos. If we aren't ready with some sort of thing to replace it, we are going to freaking have chaos.
I was going to say, even if climate change itself was not a thing, the greenhouse effect was not a thing, you're still going to run out of oil.
Yeah, and
But
guess what?
it's still not sustainable.
We don't really know how much oil is left, so that's why nobody's panicking yet. We might have been over peak a long time ago. But I don't know. They're finding more spots underneath the ocean too. But
Oh, and they're fracking now.
yeah. Well, why not, right? Let's frack the hell out of this entire planet.
We had some nice protests about that over in this country recently.
See you later, main gun. Oh, purple is in the chat, huh?
Yeah. I think Purple's having a snooze.
Yeah, he's been. Has he been going the entire time?
I think he's been going all day, by the sounds of it.
Holy
I haven't been in
crap.
most of them, so I've only just got home.
Kate was on the whole time too, wasn't she? Man.
I think she might have been.
And me, I was just wandering around, turning it on once in a while, going, "Wow, those guys are still going." Oh, geez, all the effort I put in. I can't even freaking get the thing to work when I get here.
Yeah, I've just about got used to the StreamYards now, but as soon as I tried to join this, they've changed the login system.
What's those? Is that because of something I did there? And Zoom, is that part of the StreamYard?
Zoom, I think, is something separate. I think.
It is separate. Okay.
That's what, what's it again? That's what Thingy uses.
Did Nacha have Zoom on?
Yeah, not
on
Joyce.
Yeah.
Somebody else. One of the other Strayans.
Strands from a different universe.
From upside down, man.
All right, let's hear what Pundit says.
Oh yeah, we
So
watched
when they
it.
talk about climate change, don't mistake it for the fluctuating temperatures. They're talking about their Green New Deal political version of climate change. Okay, so I'm here to tell you today, you don't have to choose.
That lady says Zoom is evil.
Two binary options. You can acknowledge a problem with polluting in our oceans. Plastic in our ocean is a problem. You don't have to deny that.
Yeah, it's a
You
big
can
problem.
advocate for responsible deforestation. You can support market-driven innovation for renewable energy, and you can acknowledge the historical trends of fluctuating temperatures. You can also advocate for responsible stewardship of God's creation, all without buying into the liberal climate twerking crap.
Yeah, you could advocate for responsible deforestation. It's called reforestation.
Yes. And you know, and she makes it sound all nice and happy and go lucky, but that's not what they do. That's not what I've witnessed. They don't. The people on the denier side are just. They're like trolls. They're almost as bad as the flat earthers, maybe even worse in some ways.
Yeah.
So today, I want to give you 10 reasons not to believe the climate change cry.
10 reasons. All right. Now that's a claim.
Because at least for me, when you hear these talking points or these narratives that come from the left about the climate, it's not the easiest topic to debunk, because a lot of times they hide it either in rhetorical tricks like the binary choice tactic, or they hide it in pseudo-scientific facts that you might not know.
Okay, now that was loaded language, but here's the thing. Who cares what anybody on the street is arguing? Go and look at the science. That's what you should do. Don't sit there. Don't even take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word. Don't take a vlogger word for it on the internet. Look at the science. There's over 50,000 journals published on climate science, and anybody can access them. You can do
Even
research.
the oil company scientists are like, I suppose that is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, you gotta. I recommend Potholder too to check for how to look for the right peer-reviewed journals. There is a difference. But when she uses pseudoscience like that, that's loaded language right there. I don't like that. That triggers my flags.
know how to debunk off the top of your head. So what I want to do today is I want to give you 10 reasons not to believe what they say, or 10 reasons to question what they say. The number one reason not to believe what these doomsdayers say is because their predictions never come true. They tell us that if we don't do something, if we don't pass the Green New Deal, that our Earth is going to die in 12 years. Life will cease to exist as we know it. They've been saying that.
They hang on to the little. They really hang on to those little mistakes that people make, don't they? The gaffes, or they try to exaggerate it into more than what it is. No, we got. Well, maybe we got 5 years. Who knows?
Now, what they're saying is not that the world will cease to exist. They're saying that the world may reach tipping points, and the climate will be shifted into a warmer state.
And
not that it'll cease to exist, just that it'll be considerably warmer.
And even if we turn into an atmosphere like Mercury, the planet will still exist.
Yeah, and even, I mean, in context, 1,000 years even is a blip in, as far as time's concerned.
You're a blip.
Geez, are these high school kids? Training them young, I guess.
Get those dead eyes in early.
This for 40 years. They've been making these doomsday predictions since before you and I were born. In fact, they predicted by the year 2000 that all the polar ice caps would be melted. And they're not.
All the ice caps. No, there's papers out there that say. I mean, I can go and look for anything out there for anybody saying anything, and that's wow.
See, if you look hard enough, you can find anything.
I mean, and people don't understand. People that make these arguments about the scientific consensus, they don't understand what a scientific consensus actually is. It's that things we've been doing this experiment so long, over so many years, and it came true so many times, and it worked every single time, that we just take it for granted that what it is. That's the consensus. It's not because me and Joe and 3 other guys said, hey, that's what the deal is, man.
Oh, I thought it was just me saying that you should buy me sausages.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I know.
the climate.
Did you hear that? Yeah, sausages do sound good.
They predicted that 50 million climate refugees from Pacific Islands would be flooding the West by.
Did they?
Who's they?
Yeah, I know.
I don't think climate scientists predicted that.
Is that how she formally cites these critical sources? They? Just as
she doesn't have any freaking sources in here except for no.
What are they doing these days?
She has no.
Now.
They doing? I've seen he came out with a video a couple weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago. They
are still around.
Yes.
These same people, and I'm not just talking about politicians. These are scientists
They are
from
watching.
NASA, from NOAA. These are scientists from the United
already wrote
Nations.
it.
These are high-level people in this
Another
movement. They
British
predicted
guy.
that California would be flooded with inland seas by now.
Nerdy wrote it.
You guys can check
in
what
the
you're
chat.
sitting on right now, but I'm pretty sure you're sitting on chairs. You're not sitting in rowboats.
Sausage time.
So that is another prediction that hasn't come true, and you can go on and on. They
Lawn
said the
Diegers.
Netherlands would be
She
uninhabitable
maybe
by
has
now.
a
They said the
point in her specific timing here, but we know that Florida is sinking every year.
Yeah,
We know that's a fact.
It is flooding.
It is.
And there's also a potential problem with water.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, some
I'm in Southern
islands.
Florida, if you didn't get me.
Salinated water supplies is no good.
Land glaciers would be on the road to being fully melted. They say the Arctic would no longer enjoy ice. Children.
Can the Arctic
a
enjoy
bit
it?
short of ice.
Does the Arctic enjoy it though? Did it ever enjoy it? I don't think it has feelings.
Wouldn't know what
Polarized
snow
there.
is.
The other one, don't they?
These are all predictions made by climate change scientists.
Are they though?
Well, even if they are, but what difference does that make? I mean, what's her name out there? One of the bigger ones. She's probably the main actual climate change scientist that went up on Congress and dissented against the main consensus. Curry, something Curry is her name. No, not Katie Curry.
Katy Perry, pretty sure.
I can't remember.
Propagated by reputable or formerly reputable news networks, and none of these predictions came true.
One thing
So
I've
now
noticed that people like to do is they like to take little offhand comments that scientists have said, unrelated to their field of study, and say, well, this scientist said this, and imply that they said it in their official capacity as a scientist representing whatever field of study they are. But it'd be like me saying that I predict the world will turn into cheese in 2050, and they said, well, Bad Tempered Badger said the world will turn to cheese in 2050, and he is a badger, so that means all badgers think that.
It's got to. And, you know, PhD in theology, that you of course can fucking predict what the climate's going to do.
And then they start saying I'm not qualified to say people should buy me sausages. And but the point I'm at is then they say, well, this person said this outrageous thing. So, yeah, he said it backstage at an event, talking to some guys, not as part of his presentation as a climatologist or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's like, yeah, he said those words in his attempt to explain the idiocy of some other person speaking those words. You have to say those words to get your point across. But it's not like those were his point, probably.
And it was a windy day, and we farted a lot, so we couldn't really hear a lot.
Yeah, just goofy time.
Ah, yes. All right. Let's hear some more.
Told. Well, no
I'm
matter
suffering,
about
man. I need
that,
booze.
no matter that the credibility of these doomsday sayers, these predictors, no matter that, we should listen to them
You're going to burn in hell, too, honey.
when they predict that our world is going to end in 12 years now.
Does look like she's
My
wearing mixed
question
fabric.
is, if they've gotten every single thing wrong in the past, why would we believe them
What
now?
has God said?
So that's reason number one.
And
And it actually brings us to reason number two, why you shouldn't believe climate change criers. They have a rule.
Ooh! I haven't heard that before. Climate change criers. That was slick. That was slick wording there. I feel triggered now.
No questions allowed. You're not allowed to ask what I just asked.
No, you've been allowed to ask questions every single time for years, and everything you've said, everything that these other naysayers have said, has been debunked, and you're just regurgitating it.
You know what's triggering me about this? Her eyebrows, I don't think match the rest of her hair.
That's true. That's true.
Now,
Might have to find out.
that has nothing to do with the point she's trying to make, and shouldn't be used to as a counter to that point. However, it's bothering me.
It's, you know what? it does matter.
I need more information.
Because some invisible guy told me so.
Yeah, fair enough.
There, see?
Did you know that this napkin is the one true religion? Because it says so right here on this napkin.
Well, yeah, the invisible guy told me that too.
Yeah, if it says the words, guys.
And I mean, just give me your kidding. I'm ready.
Asked. You're not allowed to say, well, how come this prediction is accurate if none of your other predictions have ever been accurate? You're not allowed to question.
Why is it that she can? She's right now. I don't think she's even said anything that is not, but a generalization. I can't recall anything. Maybe. And she started out kind of good, but now it's just going downhill. Yeah, this claim, and this is what was wrong, and this was all false. So they keep on doing this. And if you really think about it, that's why.
Al Gore or AOC
You know what I'm saying?
or Greta Thunberg. Not at all. You have to believe.
Yeah, maybe some nouns would be good.
Is that how you pronounce Thunberg?
Pronounce what?
Greta's last name.
Her last name?
No, not her last name.
Oh,
Climate Greta.
oh,
I can't,
oh,
I can't pronounce her name. I
Thunberg?
don't know how.
Thunberg?
Yeah, I'm going to try and find her saying it, see if I can figure it out.
And that brings us to the third reason why you shouldn't believe climate change deniers, because they try to destroy
Oh, this is back on October 5th already.
skeptics. They don't just not want you to ask questions. If you do ask questions, they try to destroy you.
What is it? Yeah.
And this is how we know that it's not based on science. Because everyone's taken a basic biology class, right? Everyone's taken a basic science class, and you know that the basis of science, the scientific method, is based on skepticism. You ask questions. Something's not a scientific fact or a scientific law unless it can't be disproven. If it can't be disproven, then you know a whole lot of people have tried to prove it wrong.
Do you agree with that?
Well, she's kind of perverting the way science works.
I'm not so sure. He's kind of
It can always be disproven, right? I mean,
falsified.
well, yeah, falsified. But we go by the best data we have at hand
Yeah. Well,
currently.
here's the thing about climate science is there is a way that people interpret it differently.
Sure, absolutely.
But there's only one way to interpret it.
Those people were skeptics. But in the climate change world, you're not allowed to do that, which means it's not really based on science. The other part of this, the other part of the destruction of climate skeptics,
Hey, guess what? Climate science
is
isn't
they
based on
tell
science.
you that 97% of climate change scientists are in consensus, right? You guys have heard that statistic, right? The majority, the consensus, 97% of scientists agree. So there's a couple reasons why that's wrong. First of all, consensus does not equal being right. At one point in history, the greatest scientific minds were in consensus that the Earth was flat. That wasn't right, but they all agreed on it. So consensus does not equal something being right. And then the factoid about 97% of scientists agree. Do you know how that statistic came to be? Do you know what that's based on? No, you probably don't. Not very many people do. And not very many people ask.
I'm sure she does.
What is that based on? So I'm going to tell you, it's based on a group of citizen scientists. They did a study. Do you know what a citizen scientist is? An activist who doesn't want to seem political. Citizen scientists, it's a group of activists who got together and they claimed that they analyzed over 11,000, I think it's 11,900 scientific papers on climate change, on the human contribution to climate change. And they analyzed these papers and came to the conclusion that 97% of the scientists who published these papers were in agreement.
The truth?
But do you know how they analyzed these papers?
She's not.
They did a Google
Offering
search
any-
within this scientific database
That's a
just
lot
for
of
the
research
words
there to
climate
set
change
that claim
and
up.
human-involved climate
Yeah.
change. And then they didn't read what the viewpoint of the scientists was.
Hang on.
They just assumed that those were.
Okay, no, I can't pronounce that. I just listened to her say her name. Greta, I mean, and no, I can't pronounce it. It's Greta Thunberg.
Greenberg.
Sorry, carry on.
Words meant that scientists agreed that humans are the largest contributing factor to climate change. And so they published this statistic, which has become one of the most commonly repeated statistics about climate change, and it's simply not true.
So, you know, that's a claim that's easily debunked. We put quite a bit in there. I don't even know the numbers anymore. I probably never really did know them because there's just so much to fucking know about it. Yeah, I think CO2 does cause that, and you know we pump a lot of CO2 in the atmosphere.
A group of actual
Tons.
scientists got together and analyzed those 11,944 papers. And do you want to know what percent of those papers actually support the original contention that humans were the majority driver?
There is no debate on whether or not humans are driving climate change over the peak.
Driving factor behind climate change? Not 97%, 0.3%.
Wow.
But you won't hear that. You don't hear that because the climate change criers don't want to talk about it.
I know, it's a conspiracy. These scientists are out to get $10,000 a year.
I'll talk about it if you want.
And
I'd like to give evidence that that's correct. I don't think it is.
I don't think that is. That's why I got out of the climate things. I was doing nothing but freaking looking up papers all day long. Because there's so many different people out there. You can't even imagine how many little websites there out there sitting there with climate deniers spewing different kinds of crap out there. I mean, it's sort of an echo chamber, but it's, I don't know. Yeah, Willie Soon is my favorite. He's been debunked so many times, and then he comes back up there with the exact same one that was debunked, and then he tries and pushes it again, and that's
They don't want
he's just not a nice guy.
to answer your questions, and maybe it's easy to see why. Because when you do ask the questions, you find fatal flaws.
And that gets me. I have to stop again because that gets me back to my point of we gotta start figuring out what we can do to reduce it, because it's the fossil fuels will not be a permanent source of energy for our civilization. It's just it's non-arguable. It's a non sequitur. We're gonna run out of fuel. We need to find other ways of doing it. All right, I'm not gonna rant.
So that brings us to reason number 4 why you shouldn't believe the climate criers.
Christ, she's got 7 more.
When there is something that they get wrong, when there is science that's not really science, it's pseudoscience, when they make a mistake that impacts a large prediction, they cover it up. Do you guys know what NOAA is? The National Oceanic?
No, he's a guy that put animals on an ark.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
A video on my channel about why that story makes no sense.
Okay, NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. It's a government-funded agency. It's basically government-funded meteorology and climate.
It's government funded. Government funded. America don't like government funded things.
Studies. Okay, NOAA, a government agency, is known. They're known within the science.
She really has to hammer that government agency thing in, doesn't she?
Scientific community for fudging numbers. And I want to give you an example of this. In 2016, NOAA claimed that year, 2016, was one of the hottest years on record. You've heard that claim, I'm sure, right? That we're experiencing the hottest years on record? That's not true. It's not.
Is it not?
I think 16 was the hottest year. There was something, I don't remember, but something changed a little bit, but this year was definitely the hottest year. Yeah.
Why would melting all the
I'm not, you know what, I'm not sure. I haven't really paid attention. I really haven't paid attention for like 2 years to the climate thing, because I just couldn't stand it. I was going mentally insane.
Not true at all. In fact, 2016, the percentage of hot days in 2016 was below average. Do you know what it ranked?
What did she just say there? The
percentage of hot days.
Percentage of hot days was below average. Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't.
Maybe those days were several degrees hotter than any other, though.
And
That doesn't factor.
yeah, I don't get it. First of all, where are you getting your data from? There's no source. There's no link to a paper. You're just yapping this crap out here to a bunch of kids, willy nilly, and yeah. So nobody's gonna fact check you.
85 or 80th since 1985. The percentage of hot days in the year 2016 was only 80th on the list of the years with the.
Okay, the percentage of hot days can be skewed. That's a skewed thing anyway, because what if a hot day is 120 degrees, and that's considered just one hot day, versus a 90-degree day, which is a hot day. So there's a huge difference there. So.
Well, there's a massive variable.
But she's saying the percentage of hot days.
Yeah,
so that's a
framing
skew.
it how she wants to.
Yeah, it's definitely not the way. I'm sure if somebody was here good with maths, they could tell us what's going on in there.
I consider any day between February and November to be a hot day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and what is your definition of a hot day? I don't think she's established that either.
If it's too hot for me to wear wool, let's try that again. If it's too hot for me to wear, you know what? Just carry on. I can't speak.
Highest number of hot days.
All right.
Since 1895. And they cover this up. They make this claim and they cover up the real data. How do they cover?
No, the data's still there. They cover up the data. I mean, the conspiracy mindset baffles me. It just, there's so many people.
Try again. If it's too hot for me to wear 2 layers or more, it's a hot day. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, you gotta adjust to that crack and rum a little bit. You gotta adjust to the effects of the crack and rum, man.
They adjusted their own reporting. They didn't use actual numbers. They used conjecture.
What does that mean? Conjecture.
They guessed.
They didn't use actual numbers.
Not actual data they collected. They adjusted their reported temperature to match
It's another
almost
claim that
identically
take a
with
while to look up,
CO2
wouldn't
in
it?
the atmosphere. So it wasn't based on numbers that they'd measured and then transcribed.
Anybody in the
and then
chat
put
looking
into
these
a
up now?
graph And then analyzed to see if it was the hottest
I am
day.
looking at
They
nothing.
made it up.
Me
They
neither.
made it up to match
Maybe somebody
I'm
did
their
make it
political
up
agenda.
to Core's funding for next
So
year.
in other
or something. It
words,
doesn't
maybe they
mean
don't know
that
what they're
it's not
talking about when it
true.
comes to the data.
Yeah.
Still.
And if they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the data, then who are they to make these claims, these prophecies, and then
The opposite
to
of
give these
conjecture.
prophecies
Thanks.
to politicians
Thanks,
who
Kate.
want to convert that into
See,
political
I would look
policy.
this up, but I don't want to.
Yeah,
I've been doing too much stuff today.
I just don't think she's made anything. Yeah, it's nothing but
She hasn't convinced me.
it's all generalizations for one thing, and then it's
Well, she hasn't brought up any study or example of data that can
No.
be
Nothing
compared.
specific.
no. This is just massaging the kids in the audience to turn them into good little conservatives for the future.
And so that brings us to the fifth reason not to believe
I hate
in climate
using
change
conservatives.
fires. The fifth reason has to do with the politicians here. The politicians don't even know what they believe exactly.
The Book of Paul,
We're
yeah.
going to use AOC as an example here. AOC, you've heard her say this, I'm sure. AOC has said we only have 12 years left until we're past the point of no return if we don't do something.
Now she said it right. So 12 years and then past the point of no return. And that, she corrected herself on that, I think. Or AOC did, because she said it. AOC was the one that said that we had 12 years or whatever, and then we're done. And but she didn't exactly say that either. So, yeah, it's amazing the way they just grab onto these little words and then use them to leverage their own little narrative.
That should speak a lot for what they're trying to accomplish.
You guys heard her say that? Okay, so that's very strange then, that after she said that in a very serious way, that she then tweeted, and this is a quote here, "You would have to have the social intelligence of a sea sponge to think that that claim is literal."
Okay.
But when she said it, it sounded literal. But she says when the GOP makes fun of her, quote, "The GOP is basically Dwight from The Office, so who knows?"
Well, you
Well, is the
do
claim
look like
real?
you have the social intelligence of a sea sponge.
Well, you got things need to get filtered, so.
Well, or is the claim not real? Because if it's not literal, then that would change how we reacted to it, wouldn't it? The politicians don't know the truth either.
Hey, KC
So that
Atheist
brings
Randy.
us to reason number 6. You shouldn't believe that
This is
climate
coming
fires
from a guy
because
who
of the people.
has the social intelligence of a glass of water. So I know when somebody is lacking social intelligence.
Yeah, sponge.
Who they make their spokespeople. They hide behind a child. Did you guys see the video of Greta Thunberg? How dare you? You've stolen my
That's not how you
dreams.
say it.
my-
It's Thunder.
Yeah, better than I can do.
childhood. You saw that? Well, here's the conundrum, and I'm not here to make
Ooh, I love conundrums.
fun of her as a person. I feel bad for her because I think she's being exploited. But
Aww.
That's so kind.
There's love in the room now.
Yeah, but
She's a great
is
person.
she though? Because Yeah, she's not in school right now, but also she's probably at the start of a very lucrative public speaking
Hey, you
career.
think it's a coincidence that she has the same body measurements as a Barbie doll?
Well, her or Greta Thunberg?
This one we're looking at.
You know, she says she feels sorry for her. You know, the definition of sarcasm is like the ripping of flesh, and that's kind of what I felt like when she said that. So I think that was sarcastic.
Well, I do have a master's degree in sarcasm.
Touche.
I put it up on my wall. That's one of the, as a Brit, that's something I have an innate sense for.
Yeah.
And I would say yes, she's full of it. It's oozing out of every orifice.
We'll be a good bloviate. She's bloviating.
But here's the conundrum: if Democrats tell us that we can't have an opinion on climate change because we're not.
No, you can't have an opinion on climate change because I don't know. Are you a scientist in climate? No.
The scientists, and the scientists are all in consensus. If we're not allowed to talk about
Then they're funded by the government.
climate change because we're not scientists, how come
I just said that.
their primary
You're not allowed to talk
spokesperson
about
on the
that,
international
because
stage
your
is not a
earrings are
scientist,
destroying
but
the
16-year-old
planet.
child? You guys know the answer to that?
I bet when she puts them on, the temperature increases by at least 3 degrees Celsius, right?
Because they use the child as a rhetorical human shield.
They're too reflective.
Those bastards.
The horror. Wow, that was some weird. That's some weird wording there. A rhetorical human shield.
Yeah.
I get it, but
Nice.
I'm trying to picture what a rhetorical human shield looks like, and I'm not sure if I got the right thing in my
I don't
head.
think you even need to list the word rhetorical. I mean, I'm sure we're not talking about holding a child up in the air like as some kind of shield from an object. That's ridiculous.
I bet she's got a podcast where she talks about conservative things.
They conflate bullying of a child and criticism of the political ideology
Well,
of espousing.
you want to bet on it, Badger? Huh? You want to bet on that one?
It's just not crazy. Just no, I bet she's got a podcast where she talks about things.
I'm pretty sure it's the truth.
So if you criticize what
All
she
willy-nilly
says,
claims and
if
everything.
you criticize the fact that she wants to cut fossil fuel use and carbon emissions in half or more, then you're bullying a child. That's what the left will tell you. And so they exploit children. They use children as spokespeople so that they can accuse anybody who asks a question of being mean to that child.
Boy,
What do you think they're doing with Donald Trump?
isn't it amazing how people with different perspectives just totally have a different conclusion? I did not get that at all from what was going on with it. It's almost like she made it up.
I thought that's why they put Trump as the president, so you feel sorry for her.
It's almost like she just came up with all these things that she just said out of the blue. It's weird.
You should immediately be skeptical of any political organization whose primary spokesperson is a child.
Because it's a communist Marxist hoax to try and get the whole world into Marxist communism think.
You're a
That's
communist Marxist hoax.
It's gotta be. Hey, it's Alan.
And that brings us to the other leaders.
There's another
the other
Brit.
leaders of this movement. AOC and
He lives
Al Gore.
in the U.S. though.
Did I mention the financial
Traitor.
benefits to these leaders? The hypocrisy here. Al Gore, the benefits that he has enjoyed on his global doomsday tours, his $1 million homes, his fleet of gas-guzzling SUVs.
Fleets of gas guzzling SUVs.
Fleets, I say.
You know, when you go to town, you got to bring your posse with.
These apparently, for you and me, these are climate sins. But for the leaders of this movement, the people who are telling us that we should sacrifice our freedom to the government so that the government can fix this problem,
Hello, Orla.
it's okay if they commit these same climate sins.
Another Brit.
That should immediately make you
It's a
skeptical.
British invasion.
But that's part of of the problem, and this
We're
is
taking
reason
it
number
back.
8.
Okay,
not
you
to
can have
believe
it.
the climate change
I don't want it no more.
that only
You gotta get rid of the
governments,
orange guy.
not individuals,
Just let me
not
have
the
my
free
ashtray.
markets,
You can have the rest.
only government can fix the problem. Can anybody here name one problem that only government can fix?
We sure helped out senior citizens in this country with Social Security. That helped a lot. So yeah, okay, done.
Well, it's not that
Is there
only
anything the
government
government has
could
done that they
fix
have
it,
done better
it's
than the
that only
private?
government will fix it.
Here's a better challenge. Can you name one Republican policy in the past 60 years in the United States that has benefited anyone?
Oh, I'll do the equivalent with
In
UK conservative
bad.
policies. All right, so now that the Tory government has been in power for a while, we don't have so many older people to feed because they're all dead.
Yeah. Okay, Boomer.
Oh, you can tell I'm not at all bitter about anything, can't you?
I didn't even really know that. The Boomer thing, is that like is that the PC culture kind of thing or whatever too?
No.
It's so funny. It's like the youngest generation coming up now is the one that started that kind of thing or whatever. They use it pretty effectively actually.
Well, the boomer thing is kind of a response to advice that is significantly out of date from people who haven't been doing the things they're trying to give advice on for 40 years. Like, oh, you know, when you're trying to get a job, you should go in, you should make sure you speak to the person and try to get a paper application, fill it out, take your CV around everywhere. So, yeah, but no company that I'm trying to apply to does anything except online applications anymore. Oh, well, you should still go in and talk to them, okay, boomer.
Oh, look at this. Don't miss out on more top conservatives. Okay.
Sector ever in the course of the history of our country. I can't think of a single thing. Not one single thing. So why would we trust government to this? Why would we trust this to government?
What are we trusting the government?
The echo's not on my end, Alan.
Who's echoing? Me?
I'm echoing because I think I'm coming out your speakers as well.
I'll turn you down a wee bit.
Oh, no.
Because this is part of their
Al's one of
this is
them
part
pompous
what they want
Brits.
in climate change. They're using climate change as a medium to get to their political goal. And that brings me, pardon me, that brings me to reason number 9. Did you
she
ever
just sniff her
notice
armpit?
that all of the solutions to climate change,
She just sniffed
all
her
of the
armpit, didn't she?
ways that we
She got
Not
a cheap
one single thing. So
sniff
why
out of
would
her
we
own
trust
armpit.
government to this?
That's what that
Why
was.
would we trust this to government? Because this is part of
She looks so
their
mad
plan.
too.
This is part of what they want from climate change. They're using climate change as a medium to get to their political goal.
Here he comes.
And that brings me
Yeah, see?
brings me
She
to
sniffed her
reason number
armpit. I
9.
knew it.
Did you
I
ever
knew it.
notice that all of the solutions to climate change,
It's a weird
all of
tick,
the
but-
ways that we have to act, the some things that we have to do conveniently, are all political policies that the left has wanted for many, many years.
I was like, cool.
not
I
talking
thought it was a
about
blonde
just
space
policies that
between
address
my
climate
ears
change.
echoing.
We're talking about what you see when you open up the Green New Deal. What do you see? Government-run healthcare. That's what you see. Universal basic income.
No.
That's what you see. Minimum.
Okay, Orla, you're a millennial, but I'm kind of confused on it because we were talking about this. I was talking about it with a couple other people last night, and they were millennials, and one's like way on the top end of it, and one's on the bottom end of it. But where does Gen Z kind of come in or whatever? That
What qualifies as a millennial?
was that?
What qualifies you to be a millennial?
I think, you know what? I'm not even sure. I know I'm Gen X. That's all I know. I suppose I could look that up someday. All right, here we go.
Generation that drinks a lot of tea.
Oh yeah, Al is a Brit that the Queen didn't like. He got booted from the country.
Wage hikes.
Too many bar fights,
That's
I
what you
think.
see.
And stay out.
Penalties, if not a ban, on eating meat and traveling by airplane. These are all things. Higher taxes, job guarantees. What on earth do those things have to do with climate change and fluctuating temperatures?
Absolutely a lot. I don't know.
It's very, very convenient. If you look at the solutions to climate change, it's very convenient that all of the solutions the Democrats want politically are political.
Holy shit, we got a whole freaking half hour left to go. Here we go.
Policies that they have wanted for a very long time. And that brings us to reason number 10 to be skeptical of the climate change criers. What would happen?
Climate change criers. That is a really good word because it's like just so.
I think it could fit actually if you consider it like the town crier with the bell.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she's going for. It's clever. I do like it. I have to say.
Have I got a bell in this room? Or don't? You going ring a ding a ding, hear ye, we're all gonna be dead.
And we're gonna burn in hell forever.
In our nation, if we accepted their premise, what would our country look like 10 years down the road if we said, okay, we believe your premise, we believe that the world will end in 12 years if we don't pass the Green New Deal, and therefore we agree to pass the Green New Deal. What would happen in our nation? It's not rhetorical. Shout it out. What would happen? Poverty.
What the heck was that?
Socialism. Doom. Doom.
Freezing.
What I didn't catch that quite.
Carbon skeptical of the climate change.
It just says, what would happen if we bring in the Green New Deal and all that? Because what would happen if we vote in the Green New Deal and all that? And it says, say it to me. Complete silence, and then just.
I gotta see that again.
If we accepted their premise, what would our country look like 10 years down the road if we said, okay, we believe your premise, we believe that the world will end in 12 years if we don't pass the Green New Deal, and therefore we agree to pass the Green New Deal. What would happen in our nation? It's not rhetorical. Shout it out. What would happen?
Cricket.
Poverty.
You just hear one person just going.
The Democrats want a carbon neutral
heavyset guy just leans a little bit.
They want to eliminate all fossil fuels. They want to ban nuclear power.
They're all just there with the blank, dead eyes looking at it like, oh, you want us to say something? I thought you were just going to talk for 2 hours and we were just going to sit here like.
Fuels or nuclear power. What happens if it's not windy or it's not sunny? What happens to the people who depend on electricity, not just in their day-to-day life for convenience, but what happens to hospitals?
Batteries.
Suffer
What
and
happens
die.
when
Everybody
get
we're not
batteries.
able to rely on wind power or solar power? The same with electric cars. Electric cars require the mining of elements from sweet
No, we're
Mama
just gonna get
Earth.
some people to
And
like
somehow the Democrats
pump the
bypass
gas
that
up or
and
something.
don't care about that when they're advocating for us to give up our cars and only take mass transportation.
Only.
And this is where it betrays
Only
itself.
mass transportation.
It betrays itself and becomes more like a cult
Because that's
than
way
a
worse
science.
than losing the planet.
If all of the climate
I
hysteria
should
is in the
mention,
interest of
that's
saving the people,
one place
by
where she
saving
does
the
have a
planet, then
point.
how come the so-called
Mass
solution
transportation,
to
public
all of
transport
this
is awful.
is socialism?
I agree.
Because we
And
know
I
what
don't
happens
just
to
mean it's
countries that
awful.
implement
It is awful
socialism,
in
don't we?
general because
You
it's
don't
so
even have to
badly
look to
organized in
history. You
most
don't have to
places.
look
But
to
it's also
Cuba
awful
and their
because
communism.
I'm
You don't have to
antisocial.
look to the Soviet
I don't want
Union. You
anyone
can look
near
at
me.
Venezuela right now. We know what happens.
Well, I don't think like the
when a
conveyor belt
nation
things that the
is
Jetsons had would
socialist.
be such a bad idea, though.
We've seen this throughout history. So if the left
Well,
actually
pipes.
cared about humankind, mankind,
Hey,
why would
Arizona
their
airport has
solution
that in it.
entail imposing the suffering
The Arizona
of
airport
socialism on
has
hundreds
a conveyor belts in it.
of
Man, you go
millions of
zipping across
people?
there.
That should be the
That's
question
fun.
that we ask
Denver,
these
too.
people. Because make no
great.
mistake,
I
that's
took an
what
extra
would
layover one
happen.
time just to play
They
around
tell
and
us,
run around
Greta
the
Thunberg
conveyor
tells us
belts one
that
day.
we are on the precipice of a mass starvation event. But that's what would happen, too, if we implemented the Green New Deal. If we allowed socialism to encroach on our nation. We would see...
Now, where does the socialism come in on the climate change argument, though? I mean, is it socialists that are for climate change and then conservatives aren't? Is that what the deal is? I don't think so. I think that's just America, isn't it? I mean,
Well, we run on a majority. Does that then
Well,
fall
the
under someone's socialist.
The
umbrella.
Conservative Party in Britain isn't exactly against climate change, are they? Or are they doing that getting that way?
Right. Conservative Party over here, they like to say that they're all for climate, dealing with the climate crisis and all this business. But what you'll actually find is, right. I emailed my local MP, and I got back from him. Oh, well, we have strong policies in place to deal with the climate crisis. So what more do you want me to do? And you look at that chap's voting record, and he didn't turn up to any of the climate-related debates. Well, I would like you to do your job and show up to the debates, dickhead.
See that same poverty, that same destitution, that same oppression that would lead to mass starvation. And I'm not being hyperbolic here, because we can look in history and we can see that happening down in Venezuela. We've seen the
Venezuela! Everything goes back to Venezuela. Isn't Venezuela a dictatorship? Or something like that? Yeah, it's pretty authoritarian, I know that.
Yeah.
videos of people in the Soviet Union eating shoes because they could not get a loaf of bread. We've seen this happen
Yeah,
here
but the
before.
Soviet Union sucks. What?
But
What the hell is?
And if you look at the Green New Deal, if you look at Greta Thunberg's plan, you can open.
how do you get on a
He's still pronouncing it wrong.
we're gonna have to send her to a vocal coach or something. How do you get from climate change and scientists to the socialist Marxist agenda? Because that's where she's going. That's where she's going. She's putting a big brush over all these terms, broad terms, and then lumping it into one, and then the left is this yucky thing that we should stomp out and eliminate and terminate.
If you didn't have all these huge oil corporations squashing any kind of renewable energy company out of existence, then maybe we could have a more conservative solution.
And maybe if you take them earrings off, we'd all be better off.
I might be able to see out past the glare.
it up, and you'll find that that's what it is. It's socialism
I can't
in the
uncouple
name of
from her
saving the
dead eyes.
planet from climate
Socialism.
change.
Yeah.
So then we get to the political aspect of this. We ask ourselves, why have they staged
And every time they
this elaborate
say
lie?
those words, it's like they're chewing
If
on
that's what this
freaking
is,
Yeah.
if we're able to go
vinegar
through
and
the
soaked,
narrative on climate change and debunk it,
I don't know what.
as we've done
Like,
in short
you know,
form
we
tonight,
really got a choice in anything.
why
anyway.
stage
It's
this
all
elaborate
socialism.
lie?
Ooh.
And the answer to this is because only a tiny, marginal fraction of Americans
Tiny
want
marginal
socialism
fraction.
in our nation.
She could have got.
I have
two
to
more
say I
Democrats
agree with Bionic Dance's comment.
Chain 5 of them together.
She was trying to marginalize them. we're marginalized. That's exactly what she's trying to do there with her semantics.
The elected officials, the politicians, they want socialism. So they stage this lie.
I say I'm anti-socialist.
to
I'm
serve as a
anti-social.
conduit to usher socialism
That's right.
into
That's
America
right.
without
That's my view on
consent.
society.
Yeah.
And
Same
they do
here.
this
I don't want people near me.
through this process. They fearmonger
What?
first.
They
tell
make
us
stupid
that young people
claims.
won't be
They
able to
say
have
stupid
children because our
things. It
children
just
will have no future.
it gets
They tell us the
it
world
drives
is
you
going
nuts.
to end. They create this fear in us because fear creates urgency. It makes us want to act.
Does she not comprehend we are a social
People are
nation?
scared to believe
Socialist
the lie
nation?
and
I
want to act.
doubt it.
And then they tell us
I doubt
the
it.
private sector's had 30, 40, 50 years, maybe even 100 years to solve the problem. And the private sector, they tell us, has failed. So the only option is for us to turn to the government. Only government
She's serving.
can fix the problem.
She's serving propaganda a la carte, is what she's doing. So.
There's elements of socialist stuff going on in most nations, because otherwise they don't work.
Well, I can't think of how you could be a complete libertarian. Yeah, there's no way you could be a complete, absolute libertarian country because I think,
You could if you had a country of like 4 people.
yeah, or Somalia. I guess that's a libertarian paradise.
Yeah.
There's no government there, right?
And once the
There's lots of
people
oil there.
believe this, because we've
Nicked
been
it from all the
indoctrinated,
passing oil tankers.
Yeah, that's right there. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna go to get a couple oil. from there.
feel the fear because we want to be able to have children and we don't want the world to end. Once we feel that urgency to do something, and once we've been convinced that the only way that we can fix this is through the government because the private sector has failed, then Democrats give us Greta Thunberg and AOC and Al Gore.
Did you say it right that time?
No, got it completely wrong. It's
feel
not
like she's singing.
it's not Thunberg. It's Thunberg.
They give us a bill like the Green New Deal and they say it fights climate change, but it actually ushers in communism.
I knew she was going to tie it to communism. There it is.
Communist.
Bing, ding, 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 ding.
And so I'm here to tell you, your generation specifically
Did you hear that? That was Lenin rolling in his grave.
today.
I love it when
do not fall
I
for this.
end up in a
Do not
conversation
fall-
with sort of a classic conservative Christian person who's, very against any form of communism, and then I link them to the Wikipedia page on Christian communism.
Oh, that's a thing?
All for this. All of this is based on a doctrine contradicted by both science and history, invented out of thin air as a method to control behavior, coming at you in the form of a Green New Deal that regulates your behavior, your choices, and your life on everything from using plastic straws to eating cheeseburgers to buying an airline ticket to visit your family or come to this conference, forcing you and your parents to tear down your house,
Be a
to give
one-man
your money to other people, and
cheeseburger
fundamentally
taco.
undermining the
Well, I know. I mean, if we got all this money, let's just spend it and burn up all the fuel. I mean, what do we need it for, right? I mean, we're only going to be in this world a short time, and we're going to heaven and paradise after that, right? I think that has a lot to do with their their funky thinking. I think the people like that.
Yeah.
economy
Perfect.
in our nation.
Pushes the blow a little.
They're going to be in heaven, and we're going to be in hell, and they won't have to worry about the left anymore. Yeah, great.
To the point where you won't even be allowed to own a car anymore, and the government will own everything and control everyone.
Okay, but
I'd like
what
to have
if we
an
let
environmentally friendly car.
what if we let the corporations do it? Won't they control everything then?
Yeah, it's just a different label on
Yeah,
the thing that's at the top.
you're taking. They pick the word government out,
All right,
and they
here's
it's,
Still
Here's
all
a-
people at the end of the day.
yeah.
some random British dickhead who lives underground's perspective on it. From my perspective, you have government and corporations, both of which are comprised of rich assholes.
Exactly.
They are all essentially the same group, just selling you a false dichotomy of conservative or socialist, capitalist socialist. It's all the same thing, run by the same bunch of rich assholes. It's just the exact label that they put on the top of it that varies.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, look at the Heartland Institute and the Cato Institute in the United States. They're all these right-wing think tanks, and they're all funded by big corporations. And they're not there to find solutions. They're there to figure out how to use semantics and propaganda to convince you to give them manufactured consent, and that's all they do. And well, that kind of leaves lying is an option. So can't throw lying out. I hate politicians. Fucking lying pieces of shit, man.
I just don't like people.
Left without the basic
Yeah,
modern
true.
necessities to survive and thrive in America.
I don't mind hanging out with a couple people, but going to a freaking crowd of people just yeah. I'd rather
That sounds
I'd
scary.
rather chew on nails.
It's because it is scary. It's not something we can't fight against, but it's not something that we can pretend is real and go along with. Because this is a strategy the Democrats have been putting into play for years.
See, here's the thing though. This whole thing that she's been doing is conflating politics with science. This whole thing is all about politics. She's trying to tie science into the politics to make the scientists look bad to frame her narrative. And it's why can't you just explain that to people and they'd understand it? I don't know how can you articulate that so that they understand it? Is it possible to do that? That's where I don't understand it. I mean, it seems like it seems so simple to me, but why is it so difficult? Why is somebody else's opinion so different? I don't know. I'm just yapping.
Years and years, and it is only now, forgive the pun, coming to a tipping point, and it's up to our generation to stop it. And now you know that.
What are they going to stop? I don't know. Geez, they got to be like 15, 16 years old.
Oh, look at that mushy brain. Sucking
10
it up.
reasons.
Yeah,
main
they're
reasons
just they're sponges.
Get the mush heads.
Thank you.
Standing ovation across the board. Some of them kids are 9 years old.
This goes to a Q&A now, man. I know she's on a podcast.
I reckon somebody in the front stood up to leave, and everybody else stood up to see
You guys
around
want to do
them.
questions?
He talks about conservative
Yeah?
thing.
Students, go ahead and line up in the back to ask Liz a question. We'll start with a question from one of our virtual past participants. Dominic from Georgia asks, your book was really successful and you were a first-time author. What tips do you have for other aspiring authors to succeed like you have?
Their
First of all,
oversized earring.
thank you, Dominic, for asking the question via the virtual
You
pass.
know what?
Thank you, everyone that's tuned
Let's
in
go. I
online
got one
to
more
watch
video
this
that I want
along.
to check out here. Because we got,
I
15
think
minutes left?
The best tip that I have is know what
She's
you
a hack. I'm not going to recommend her because I think she talks about conservative things on a podcast. And it's probably, if you're a liberal, you're not going to like it. You're just not.
Oh, I'd probably agree with one or two things she said, and then the rest of it, I'd be sitting there scratching my head going, okay, so you want to have a smaller government?
You're just
by
you just
selling
think she's,
everything
you're
to
just falling
Microsoft.
for her cuteness, that's all. You're just falling for her big eyes.
Dead eyes.
No, I like people who can sort of look at me with a smile that is with their whole face.
Ah, yes. If it seems like they're trying too hard, it's
I
probably
don't
not
like
a
a
smile.
smile that's just the mouth going while the eyes say, I'm going to sell you to China.
Okay, says Biodan says, does anybody have any questions? Yes. Why are you so stupid? Okay. Hold on a second here.
I agree with Kate again. She says cuteness. I really don't think she's attractive personally. I can see that some people would think she's pretty snazzy, but she's not really my type either.
Here.
She looks like a mannequin.
I've watched this one before. You're gonna love this.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is what the future's got to look forward to.
I used to be a climate change alarmist myself because obviously as a young girl I grew up around
Soccer mom on
the
steroids.
climate change hysteria. I grew up with it in the media, in my school books and on TV. And I was the first one to, whenever my beliefs were questioned, I was the first one to ask the question, so are you saying that you are a climate change denier? And of course, especially as a German girl, the word denier carries a lot of weight. And today,
I thought she was Dutch.
consider it an atrocious insult. But back then, I didn't think about that. And I was an innocent young girl, and I thought that by hugging the trees, I could save the planet, which, quite frankly, turned out not to be true.
Well, yeah, you can't hug trees to save the planet.
I've tried hugging the trees. They're a bit rough.
Hey, yeah. Yeah.
Also, they don't really appreciate it, to be honest. They're just kind of, what are you doing?
What's that called when you're just so destitute, or there's no hope wherever it's too big of a hill to climb? What's the word for that? It's kind of. I feel like she just said that. I took the trees. I put up a little plastic bags and I saved them and I planted a tree. That didn't help nothing.
I'll tell you what people do with the trees around here. They go walking their dogs. Then the dog goes for a poo. So they pick up that little dog shit and they put it in a bag, a little plastic bag, and then they hang that little plastic bag from a tree and then they leave it there. What is the point of this action? What have you achieved other than you've taken some dog shit that would have biodegraded by itself and now put it in a plastic container so that it won't biodegrade and hung it up in the air where everyone can see it? What do you think you are achieving by bagging this shit and hanging it from a tree? You've just made a load of shit trees now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I took pride in buying paper bags instead of plastic bags, but
Yes.
I didn't really make a change.
Nope.
Then eventually, in 2015 roughly, I became a skeptic, and at first not with regards to
Bring your own bags, but not cotton ones, because Critical Criminal will tell me I'm doing it wrong again.
Well, if it's like 1,000, 1,100 thread cotton, then
but rather
Egyptian cotton.
with regards to the migration crisis in Germany. And once you start exploring these political topics that are more on the right, I guess, or in the libertarian department, things spiral out of control. And
So you drank the Kool-Aid. That's what you just said, right? The Heartland Institute. I can't stand them.
you go down the path of understanding that many topics such as feminism, gender, socialism, postmodernism, and
Because all those have everything to do with climate change.
and climate change hysteria, they are all related in some way, and pave the way
I don't see how that
a
falls.
very bad kind of totalitarianism.
Maybe because you don't agree with any
I
of
always
them.
loved science as well, so naturally I had to become a climate change denier, a skeptic. Science.
So she must be the other side's answer to Greta. Sorry, I can't pronounce it either. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Is entirely based
You'll have to
on
record that for me so I can
intellectual
practice it.
ability, and it is important that we keep questioning the narrative that is out.
When you question the narrative of science, does that make sense to you? Does science have a narrative?
Depends which book you read. If you read all the studies, then what happens is you go to sleep because they are very long, and they are mostly full of data. And there's only the only bit that could be called narrative is the conclusion, where they try to interpret the data, and that's all open to being. I mean, the data is the data. The interpretation is the bit where there could be considered a narrative.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the language scientists use, I don't even understand most of what they say on their papers because, yeah, okay. I'm sure she's got the answers here for us.
Instead of promoting it. And these days, climate change.
I'm getting ready to buy an SUV right now.
Science really isn't a science at all. Those self-proclaimed scientists.
Wait a minute. Self-proclaimed scientists. She just said self-proclaimed scientists?
Those self-proclaimed scientists.
Yep.
We've heard it today. They draw their conclusions before even testing their hypothesis, and they base their assumptions on completely incoherent models.
Now that is just wacky.
This is a scientific method. You come up with a hypothesis, and then you come up with a way of testing it.
And then you rinse and repeat.
And you keep testing it until you find, and you make adjustments to the test when your data comes in, and you find where your inaccuracies are, and then you say, right, well, let's make adjustments to this this hypothesis, and then conduct a new test to see whether we've got it better this time.
And that's how we get to a consensus. That's the way it is. Nobody understands that consensus.
It's just an insult to science itself.
It's, the words that she's using. I mean, that's just, yeah. I bet, okay, let's make a bet here. She says socialist or communist by the time she gets to the end of this freaking speech. I want to bet that she does. What do you say, Badger? You think she will?
Probably. I reckon she'll also say that that all the little lists that she went down just now, what was it she said? Climate. There was a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
I reckon she'll say that all that list is communism.
I just, well, she did that SJW list and whatever, blah blah blah.
She did the SJW list.
Tied them to, yeah.
And she'll go with all that list is communism.
Yeah, and that's
She
what's
won't
causing
bring up that even the so-called left don't agree on all those, and communism is an unrelated topic.
I mean, are they just that vapid and out of claims that this is what they're down to, is bringing her on?
And I asked myself,
yapping?
What is the goal of all of this? And I believe,
What is the goal of it? What?
Communism.
unfortunately, that the goal is
Yeah, I guess
shame
so.
humanity.
What?
Climate change alarmism, and it's very
Shave humanity. I
climate
think you
change
said.
alarmism, at its very core, is a despicably anti-human ideology. And
Wow, a despicably human ideology. That is a mouthful, isn't it?
we are told to look down upon our achievements with guilt, with shame, and with disgust, and not even to take into account the many major benefits that we have gained from
Are we
using
there?
fossil fuels as our main energy source.
That's the-
Just look around.
So-
We're living in such an amazing era of fast progress, of innovation, and
Hey, Kate, if you're still
We're
out
not
there,
allowed
you
to be
can
proud
put a
of
link
that
in
at
for
all.
your stream coming up here. Everybody,
debates are being
I reckon.
Bionic Dance will be
is-
doing a stream here next. She's the next in line, and
Oh.
is it Purple? Purple's the last one then after Kate.
Probably.
Okay, yeah, because we got
I'm
6 minutes
not
left.
actually sure
Thank
about-
goodness.
Well, what she's saying, not Kate, this lady here. What she's on about is,
shut
I
down.
would like to, I'd like to act in a way that means the planet is still inhabitable by humans. Well, you're anti-human then.
It's wow. I mean, yeah. There's the look of disgust was on her face.
Scientists, real scientists, lose
There
their
it
jobs
is.
for performing the most genuine and innocent form of science there is, which is just real science, real skepticism. And that is not just an insult to science, that is an insult to the complexity of nature, and most importantly, it is an insult to the freedom of speech.
An insult to freedom of speech. Okay. First of all, there's no freedom of speech in science. So, bleh. Aha.
And that's why we are here today. To speak up and to bring the spirit of science back to life again. And I hope that you will do the same.
Oh, we're
with
in
us
trouble.
Together. Thank you so much for having me.
We are in so much trouble. Wow. That is just. I don't know what to say about. Yeah, it's child abuse, putting her up here like that.
Oh, well,
Well, I think we're getting to the end here. Did you, would you like to say anything special about how sucky my stream was?
I like the song at the start.
Oh, was that it?
Well, StreamYard's is a bit of a bit wonky if you're not used to it, isn't it? I mean, it's a very simple interface once you know where everything is, but when you don't
that's
know
just
where
it.
everything is, you just
I
kind of-
messed with it. I messed with it the other day, and it was like great. But then I guess I went a couple days without streaming, and then it was like, wow, I forgot all everything. But it's great user face. I just don't know. I just can't believe that was just a load of crap. That young girl or whatever, Naomi, pronounce that name too now. Siebt, I think is how you say that. But yeah, and I want. God dang it, where's Potholders? That's another one that I wanted to.
Well, we mentioned ended up mentioning Noah's Ark earlier. I'd like to shill myself on my channel. There is a very good Noah's Ark makes no sense video. It's one of the videos I am most proud of.
And who else should I forgot to?
So if you ever want a video on Noah's Ark, I recommend that one. Also recommend that massive series that Aaron Ra did about Noah's Ark.
Okay, I need. There it is. What do I got left? 2 minutes. These are the guys at Potholders got his. Is that coming up on there?
No, you gotta do the screen share. You could D again.
Alrighty, we'll quick do this. Chrome tab. And
there they are.
And the charity is.
That's some big chainsaws.
Science and the Media series, I'll have a video showing how the line between fact and opinion is being blurred in the media.
And put the link to this charity in the chat.
Geology for those creationists who thought my video, The Age of Our World Made Easy, would play too difficult. I don't get paid to make these videos, and a lot of the meticulous fact-checking, citing of sources and correcting of errors.
Anyway, thank you all for coming into my live stream, and thank you, Badger. Thank you for showing up here, because I probably had to.
It's all right. Thanks for having me on to ramble a load of crap again.
I don't think we ever did stream together. No, we never have.
I think we may have been in one of Neil's together at some point.
That could be like that, but I don't think we just did something like this. So.
Well, if you want to come on my channel for a chat at some point, once I get myself sorted out in the new year, I'll be trying to have some more conversations again.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the hang of getting back into it anyway. I kind of got out because of the community crap that was going on for a while there. I just wasn't in the mood to do it, and I was busy at work. So, but now I'm back. I'm back.
I've got a lot of stuff going on in the physical world that's prevented me from having the energy for doing stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to get myself sorted out again at some point soon.
Alrighty then. Well, this is Johnny DriveBYE and Badger here. We're gonna say adios. Go to Kate's Bionic Dances live stream. She is going to do the next segment in this wonderful Christmas day.
And she's just put the link in the chat.
Yep, it's in there. All right, everybody. Out of here.